showtime.
Horror often comes in three major flavors: based on a true story, religious background, or science gone wrong. However, an underrated subgenre of the horror category is one of my personal favorites: fantasy horror. Creatures or killers with the ability to wield magic and terrorize their victims. Before we begin, please give this video a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. With that being said, here's our list of 10 fantastic magical horror films. Number 1, Lord of Illusions, 1995. From the mind of Clive Barker, the master of cult horror films such as Hellraiser and Nightbreed, this film revolves around a group of magicians who learn real magic from a man obsessed with ascending into immortality. Enter a private investigator looking into the disappearance of a young woman, and he stumbles upon a world of deceit and unbelievable magics. It boasts some incredible visuals, even if a few haven't aged well, and a truly horrendous villain who will sacrifice anyone to achieve his goal. The acting is pretty good, and the soundtrack is appropriately eerie yet noir, including some fantastic fake-out deaths. The final showdown erupts in explosive and gory fashion, a must-watch if you haven't seen it. Number 2, Leprechaun, 1992. You know the story. If you see a rainbow, find the end of it, and there you will discover a pot of gold. And with any luck, catch a leprechaun who has to grant you wishes. What the myths often hide are how devious these little green gremlins truly are. A derivative of the fairy species, they love causing chaos and doing whatever they must to protect their precious gold. This film is exactly that, but what makes it stand out is the fantastic performance by Warwick Davis as the titular villain. He truly enjoys tormenting those who steal from him and utilizes his magic in fun and unique ways to kill his victims. It also stars a very young Jennifer Aniston at the beginning of her career. Number 3, Wishmaster, 1997. Brought to you by Wes Craven, this film takes a whack at the mythology behind the Jinn, otherwise known as Genie to most Westerners. Immortal and older than most civilizations that roam the earth, the Jinn has witnessed all kinds of depravities and atrocities that humanity is responsible for. However, his goal is just like that of the genie from the Aladdin cartoon. He just wants to be free of his shackles. Tricking people into using their wishes, few can resist and end up paying the ultimate price. Remember, always be careful what you wish for. Number 4, Warlock, 1989. The son of Satan, he travels from the late 17th century to the then modern 20th century with one goal in mind: destroy the world. However, he needs to gather more power to do so, and is set on a quest to reassemble the Grand Grimoire, a book with the power to unmake creation itself. While the kills can be gruesome and the overall tone is often cheeky, and the titular character, played excellently by Gillian Stans, is chock full of sarcasm and wit. If you're looking for a more comedic horror romp through the fantasy landscape, this film should be right up your alley. Number 5, The Craft, 1996. Not just another movie about a coven of witches. What makes this film so special is that it is also an exploration of young womanhood. A coming-of-age tale of a group of outcast female students who learn to be self-confident as they become more and more powerful. With a stunning cast and superb cinematography, this is one of those films that feels elevated, even though it came out in the mid-90s, before the subgenre became popular. The magic starts simple, things we all wish we could do, from levitation to enticing our crush to fall head over heels for us, before it begins to take a much darker turn as the girls begin to become envious of one another. Aside from the deeply feminist roots, this is otherwise a genuinely fun film about witches, so I highly recommend seeing it if you haven't. Number 6, Pan's Labyrinth, 2006. One of the earlier efforts by the fantastic Guillermo del Toro, it was the major breakout film that made him into a household name in the States. It follows a young girl during World War II, just 5 years after the Spanish Civil War had ended, as her stepfather, Captain Vidal, hunts down the Spanish Marquis, who threatened the current leadership. She sees horrific things, terrible violence at the hands of Vidal and his men, so she begins to turn to a fantasy as a form of escapism. As she embarks on a journey across this new mystical realm, she faces her fears and ultimately ascends as a golden goddess. Or did she? The film is entirely in Spanish, but don't let that deter you. It has some of the most fascinating visuals and remarkable acting you've ever seen. Definitely a must-watch. Number 7, Drag Me to Hell, 2009. Throughout history, there have been countless tales of the so-called Gypsy Curse, the most famous being the story of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. However, this film, helmed by the great Sam Raimi, follows Christine, a loan officer, who is instructed to deny an elderly woman's extension on her mortgage. Furious, the woman curses her, and then the real fun begins. It touches upon several tropes, from exorcism to passing on the curse by sharing it with someone who deserves it more, and ends with a shocking twist that may or may not leave you with mixed emotions. But along the way, you will be both horrified and laugh until you can't catch your breath. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Number 8, Wish Upon, 2017. What if you found a box that could grant you any wish your heart desired? That is the question at the heart of this film. However, that comes with a twist. As we all know, the universe needs balance, and so to give, it must also take. The young girl at the center of this story must confront this moral dilemma, as the more wishes she makes, and the more perfect her life gets, those around her begin to suffer. A modern update to the tale of the monkey's paw, it plays with the tropes that feel all too familiar, but delivers some genuinely frightful moments as well. Definitely check it out for yourself, and after watching it, ask yourself, what kind of wishes would you make and be okay with the consequences of? Number 9, The Serpent and the Rainbow, 1988. Another film by the late, great Wes Craven, this is set in the world of voodoo. However, unlike most films which treat it like an alien concept or some sort of tool to be used to torment others through dark magics, it takes a very deep and methodical approach to the darker side of the spiritual belief. Based on the autobiographical book of the same name, the film follows ethnobotanist Wade Davis on his adventures through Haiti, where he was supposedly poisoned, buried alive, and rebirthed as what they refer to as a zombie. What's even creepier is the behind-the-scenes making of this film that sees several of the cast and crew members experience real bizarre occurrences throughout the filming process. This film can literally send shivers down your spine, but it can also enlighten you to a wealth of history of a very misunderstood belief. Number 10, In the Mouth of Madness, 1994. Part of John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy, this film is kind of a horror parody of Stephen King. It sees John Trent, an insurance investigator, tasked with locating the famed author Sutter Kane, and find out if he's still working on the final book in his long-running cult horror series. These books, however, have a strange power over their readers, as many predict actual events, and often drive them into complete madness. Throughout the film, the closer Trent comes to finding Kane, the more he too is driven into insanity, as whatever the author writes becomes reality. Does he exist? Is he real? Or is everything in the world just ideas tapped out on a page by some deranged story writer? The only way is to find out and watch the film and judge for yourself. Thanks for checking out the video. What other fantasy-type horror films did we leave off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to ring that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at StudiosFat or chat with us on Discord, linked below. I've been your host, Jamie. Keep that kettle brewing.